Let me say something most people don't want to hear. The reason you're not wealthy yet has nothing to do with the economy. It has nothing to do with your job, your city, your family background, or the opportunities you were or weren't given. It has everything to do with how you think about money. And before you close this video, hear me out. Because this isn't about blaming you. This is about freeing you. Because the prison keeping most people from financial freedom isn't built from iron and steel. It's built from beliefs. Invisible ones. Inherited ones. Ones so deep inside you that you've never once questioned whether they're actually true. Today we're going to pull those beliefs into the light. And once you see them clearly, you can never unsee them. That's where real change begins. Think back to your childhood for a moment. What did you hear about money growing up? Money doesn't grow on trees. Rich people are greedy. We can't afford that. Money is the root of all evil. Most of us absorbed these messages before we were old enough to evaluate them. And here's the painful truth. Your brain didn't file them under things adults said. It filed them under facts about reality. Psychologists call this a money script, an unconscious belief about money that drives your financial behavior without you even realizing it. Research by financial psychologist Dr. Brad Klontz found that most people fall into one of four money belief patterns. Some believe money is dangerous and avoid accumulating it. Some believe they never deserve financial success. Some believe their self-worth is tied entirely to their net worth. And some avoid thinking about money altogether, hoping it will somehow work itself out. None of these patterns were chosen consciously. They were installed. And here's what makes them so powerful. They don't feel like beliefs. They feel like reality. The person who grew up hearing rich people are selfish doesn't think they believe that. But watch what happens the moment they start making more money. Guilt creeps in. Discomfort follows. They find ways, unconscious ways, to spend it, give it away, or simply stop earning it. Because somewhere deep in the operating system of their mind, a rule is running. People like us don't have money like that. Until you rewrite that rule, no strategy, no investment tip, no side hustle will save you. You will always find a way back to what feels familiar. Here's another truth that nobody in the personal finance world wants to tell you. Most financial decisions are not financial decisions at all. They are emotional decisions wearing financial clothing. You don't buy the expensive phone because it's the best option. You buy it because it makes you feel successful, relevant, like you've arrived somewhere. You don't eat out every night because cooking is impossible. You do it because after a hard day, the thought of one more difficult task feels unbearable, and spending money feels like taking care of yourself. You don't avoid looking at your bank account because you're lazy. You avoid it because seeing the number creates anxiety, and avoidance feels like relief. Every one of these is an emotion, a need, a wound, dressed up as a spending choice. Behavioral economist Dan Ariely spent decades studying why humans make irrational financial decisions. His conclusion was simple and devastating. We are not rational actors who occasionally make emotional mistakes. We are emotional beings who occasionally make rational decisions. Our spending tells the story of our inner world far more accurately than we'd like to admit. So the question isn't just where does your money go? The question is what need are you trying to meet when it goes there? That question, honestly answered, is worth more than any budgeting app you'll ever download. There is a gap between people who build wealth and people who don't. And it is not the gap most people assume. It's not intelligence. Studies consistently show that IQ has a weak relationship with financial success beyond a basic threshold. It's not income. Research shows that the majority of lottery winners, people handed life-changing sums overnight, return to their previous financial position within 5 years. Because money without a changed mindset is just a temporary condition. It's not even discipline or willpower. Those are symptoms of something deeper. The real gap is this. Wealthy people think in time horizons that poor people don't. A person trapped in financial scarcity thinks about today, this week at most. They ask, can I afford this right now? They operate in what psychologists call a scarcity mindset, where the brain is so focused on immediate survival that long-term thinking becomes neurologically inaccessible. Princeton psychologist Eldar Shaffer co-authored landmark research showing that financial scarcity actually reduces cognitive bandwidth. Not permanently, but functionally. When your mind is consumed by, how do I make rent this month? The mental resources available for strategic, long-term planning shrink dramatically. This is not a character flaw. It is a documented neurological response to stress. But here's the crucial point. The scarcity mindset doesn't only live in people who have no money. It lives in people who think they have no money. In people who were raised to feel like resources are always limited. In people who never learned to see beyond the immediate. And the antidote is not simply think positive. It is a slow, deliberate retraining of how far forward your mind is willing to look. Wealthy people ask different questions. Not can I afford this? But what will this cost me in 5 years if I buy it? And what will it return if I don't? That shift in time horizon changes everything. Here is perhaps the most important thing I will say in this entire video. You will never consistently earn, keep, or grow more money than your identity believes you deserve. Read that again. Your financial thermostat, the unconscious upper limit your mind has set for how much success feels safe and normal, will always pull you back to its setting, no matter what happens externally. This is why some people earn more and spend more. The thermostat adjusts the spending to match the familiar level of stress and scarcity. This is why some people receive windfalls and lose them. The identity hasn't expanded to hold the new reality. This is why some people sabotage opportunities, relationships, and deals just when things start going well. Because going well feels dangerous to a mind that has been trained to expect struggle. The work of building wealth is, at its deepest level, the work of expanding your identity. Not pretending to be someone you're not. Not faking confidence you don't feel. But genuinely, slowly, consistently updating the story you tell about who you are and what you're capable of. Every book you read about money rewires a neuron. Every conversation you have with someone who thinks bigger than you expands your reference point. Every time you keep a financial commitment to yourself, no matter how small, you build evidence that you are someone who can be trusted with more. Identity change is not dramatic. It is quiet, incremental, and it is the foundation that every financial strategy must be built on. Without it, strategies fail. With it, even imperfect strategies succeed. So where do you start? Not with a new budget. Not with a new investment account. Not with a course or a book or a guru. You start with a single honest question. What do I actually believe about money? And where did that belief come from? Sit with that. Write it down. Because the belief you've never examined is the one running your financial life in the background. Then ask, is this belief mine? Or did I inherit it from someone who was also struggling? Because you are not your parents' financial story. You are not your culture's limitations. You are not the sum of every "we can't afford that" you heard before you were 10. You are someone capable of learning a new relationship with money, of building new habits, of thinking in longer time horizons, of expanding your identity to hold a bigger financial life. It will not happen overnight, but it will happen if you decide that the story you've been living is not the only story available to you. The people who build real wealth don't have secrets. They have a different relationship with money than most people ever develop. And relationships can always be changed. Start today. Start small. Start honest. Because the most expensive thing you will ever own is a limiting belief you never questioned.